Today's big question: why do Muslims hate the Danish cartoonist who drew the Prophet Muhammad? It's not just that. It's also about standing up for what you believe in. You see, this cartoonist has made a mockery of Islam and Muslims for clout and money. He's profited off of this hate and bigotry for far too long. Now he is reaping what he has sown. This whole thing started in 2005, when this guy Kurt Westergaard drew this picture of the Prophet, Muhammad, with a bomb in his turban. Now we all know that the Prophet Muhammad is a revered figure in Islam, second only to God himself. So when this cartoon was published in a Danish newspaper, Muslims were understandably outraged. They protested outside the newspaper's office and demanded an apology. But the cartoonist refused, doubling down and even saying that it was his freedom of speech. Now, I'm not going to lie, this guy has some balls. Do I agree with him? No, but at least he's consistent. Even after receiving death threats, he still refused to apologize. So the Muslim protesters took matters into their own hands. They attacked the newspaper's offices, smashed windows, and set fires. The police were called in, and eventually the building was evacuated. So what's the lesson here? When you mock an entire religion, this is what happens. People will get angry, people will protest. This is exactly what happened in France with Charlie Hebdo. They published a bunch of controversial cartoons, including one of the Prophet Muhammad. And then they got attacked by radical Islamists who killed 12 people. In both cases, the attackers were wrong. There's no justification for violence or terrorism. But it's important to understand why these attacks happened. These cartoonists thought they were above it all, that their right to free speech supersedes the feelings of others. Well, guess what? It doesn't. There is such a thing as going too far. And that's exactly what happened here. The thing is, most people don't care about the Prophet Muhammad. To them, he's just some dude from the desert 2,000 years ago. But to Muslims, he's a revered religious figure. So when someone makes fun of him, it's seen as an attack on all Muslims. And that's why there were protests. If these cartoonists want to keep making these cartoons, that's fine. But don't be surprised when people get angry. Don't be surprised when people protest. And certainly don't cry about it. On social media these days, everyone wants to cancel everyone else. If you don't like someone's opinion, you try to silence them. You try to get them fired. You try to ruin their life. But this is wrong. It's wrong to go after someone's livelihood. It's wrong to try to ruin their life. And most of all, it's wrong to forget about your own Prophet Muhammad. When these cartoonists make these cartoons, they're not doing it because they love Charlie so much. They're doing it for attention. They're doing it for clout. They're doing it to make money. Now, if that was true love, I'd respect that. But it's not. These cartoonists are hypocrites. They use the Prophet Muhammad's name to make money. But when push comes to shove, they don't really care about him. They wouldn't defend him. In fact, they'd probably make fun of him. So let's stop pretending that this is about love. Let's stop pretending that this is about God. Because if it was, then these cartoonists would show more respect to other religions. They wouldn't make fun of Jesus Christ or they wouldn't make fun of God, but they do because it's easy. It's easy to make fun of people when you don't really understand their beliefs. It's easy to mock religion when you don't have faith. But that doesn't give these cartoonists the excuse to go too far. Let me say this once again. The attacks in France and Denmark were wrong. There's no justification for terrorism. But these cartoonists need to understand why these attacks happened. They need to understand why people are angry. Maybe then they'll tone down the rhetoric. Maybe then they'll stop pushing the envelope. But probably not. Probably these cartoonists will continue to make fun of the Prophet Muhammad, and probably Muslims will continue to get angry. Well, folks, that's today's big question. Why do Muslims hate the Danish cartoonist who drew the Prophet Muhammad? Because he disrespected their prophet, their faith, and went way too far.